Selamat siang. Welcome to the latest news from Bali and Indonesia. This is August 5th, 2022, and my name is Bruce. And it is a beautiful, beautiful day in Bali, well, in Singaraja. And the temperature is a very, very pleasant 24.4 degrees Celsius. Wind speed, 8.4 kilometers per hour, and the humidity is quite low at 57%. Let's take a look and see what the city of Singaraja looks like right now. Okay, so I said let's take a look at this lovely day, and here we are up in North Bali. So this is what it looks like today. A lot of stuff to cover today, of course, because it's twice a week, and so there's more things, and there's just so much news out right now. And two main stories. One is clear what's happening. The other one seems to change every hour, and I've been looking at social media today to see any reports from people that are out over in the Komodo area, and nothing new. And so I'm going by what is here, and everybody wants to get involved in that. So we'll talk about that. For people that said, I hope I feel better, I had to have my tooth pulled, and it is still infected, the gum's infected, but taking care of it, so thanks for that. Let's get in and start with the numbers first. National new cases up again, 6,527. So this has been fluctuating. 3,000, 4,000, now it's up to 6,000 again, so it's going up and down. National recovery, 6,644. National deaths, 14. The death rate is staying pretty stable. Bali new cases, 197. Bali recoveries, 178. And Bali deaths, 2. And so the government hasn't been talking much about COVID over the last few days. We are still at level 1, and that has been extended. And so that's good news. And as I've been saying, let's not look a gift horse in the mouth. The first main story is about the sites that were blocked by the government. LBH Jakarta urges Kominfo to revoke rules on PSE. The Jakarta Legal Aid Institute, which is known as LBH in Jakarta, has received 182 public complaints so far related to the blocking of a number of sites that are not registered with the Electronic Systems Operator, or PSP, based on the Communications and Information Technology Minister's Regulation number 5 of 2020. According to the Institute's public attorney, the profiles of the complainants vary, ranging from creative workers such as artists, musicians, graphic designers, content creators, and others, developers, gamers, freelancers, lecturers, journalists, business entities engaged in business digital. And so a lot of people complaining about this. Complainants said they're recording financial losses due to lack of access to paid services such as Steam, Epic, and several other sites. They've also lost their income because of failed transactions via the global payment system, PayPal, and we'll talk about that in the next segment. Not only that, the loss of access to sites such as Steam, Epic, and others eliminates the income of some complainants who use their services. The losses of the complainants can reach hundreds of millions of rupiah, according to the lawyer, Paktio. The government's decision to temporarily unblock PayPal for people to migrate their funds also proved that the government was not careful and thorough in calculating the impact of the site blocking. According to Paktio, LBH Jakarta will take legal possible efforts with the public to cancel arbitrary actions and policies of the government that violate law and human rights. And let's go on to the next segment, and this is a big one. PayPal. PayPal registers in Indonesia, access unblocked, company says. Interesting, because yesterday when I saw this article, I went to PayPal to get in to see my account, because I use PayPal sometimes, and it was blocked. I had no idea, because I read the article said it was unblocked. But later last night, I used a different phrase, kind of translating from Indonesian into English. I do that sometimes. Last night, I checked in and I was able to get into PayPal. So PayPal is registered as an electronic systems operator in Indonesia now, and so all the customers have access to their services. And so that is good news for people that are trying to make a living online here and getting paid by clients, especially overseas clients, via PayPal. Now everything is cool for them. And one more segment on this. Government blocks online gambling platforms, yet countless more reemerge. Surprise, surprise. The Communications and Informatics Ministry on Wednesday claimed to have blocked at least 410 online gambling contents that they discovered across a multitude of digital platforms on a daily basis. So they say they're doing 410 a day now on the average. The Communication Minister, Johnny Plate, claimed that the ministry has blocked 552,644 online gambling sites starting in 2018 up until just the other day, July 31st. However, he stressed that completely eradicating such online businesses is a challenge as new ones emerge as the government blocks the ones that they discover. This is kind of like, what is that game where you hit something and a mole or something and then it pops up somewhere else and you hit it there and it pops up somewhere else? Same thing. People that are running these kind of sites, they know what they're doing. They go from place to place. They keep reappearing. Online gambling and porn, getting rid of them completely, impossible. On average, there are 12,300 online gambling contents that are handled or blocked from January to July. That's just this year, 12,300. And so he said that's 410, the average a day, that's where that comes from. And gambling is, if you don't know, it's illegal in Indonesia. It was not when I first moved here. And so gambling is a violation of Indonesian law under law number 11, 2008 on electronic transactions and information and articles 27, 2, and 96A of government regulation number 71, 2019 on electronic system and transaction operation, in case you're interested in that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's the situation with blocking. Right now, PayPal is open, and so that is one of the main stories today because I know a lot of people were impacted, some people that I know, well, including myself. And let's go on to the second one, which is a story that I've covered a number of times and is a hot issue, and it seems that changes every hour. It's impossible to keep up with it. I think I have about 5 segments here, and I'm still not sure what is going on right now. And what am I talking about? Komodo, of course. Susi, Pudjiastuti deems Komodo Island entry fee hike ignorant policy making. So Ibu Susi is a former Minister of Maritime and Fisheries, and she was on Twitter this week complaining about the government's decision to raise the entry fee to $3.75 million. She said this shows yet again policymakers are not concerned about people in the tourism business. And she vented her frustration on who else? Our favorite tourism minister, Pak Sandiaga Uno. He was talking about this on Twitter, and she said, "Dear Sandy, why again such an ignorant decision taking place?" Wow, not mincing her words. And she also mentioned the government's policy of raising tourism sites fees in Borobudur. And so she said, what is going on here? So this is one person, not a current minister, a person that was a minister, who is saying this is crazy, raising this to $3.75 million. So far, the government officials, the ministers, and the president and everybody else has been saying, well, it's okay because you can just go to Rinca Island. You don't have to go to Komodo and Padar because that's going to be the price. Is it? I don't know. Let's take a look at the next one. NTT governor on Komodo Island's new pricey fee. Visit Rinca Island. So the East Nusantara government, NTT, said that they are going to implement this 3.75 million rupiah price per person per year, regardless of all the complaints that have been going on and the demonstrations, the protests, and well, some other things that you'll see about in a following segment. NTT Governor Pak Victor ensured that as the new tariff is applied, his side would disseminate it to the community, especially regarding the conservation program. I wanted to say conversation program, conservation program. Tourists who want to see the Komodo dragons, he said, but object to the price hike, can go to Rinca. Rinca is going to be $75,000 per person if you're a local, and $150,000 per person if you are a foreigner. And he said the island is home to 1,300 of the giant lizards. Pak Victor said President Jokowi has also said that if you don't want to go to Komodo Island and Padar Island, you can go to Rinca because the dragons are the same on all of those islands. So basically, quit complaining. Additionally, he said that there are going to be limits on the number of visitors coming to the two islands. He didn't say anything about limitations on Rinca. So what is going to happen there if everybody floods into that one island? That's not going to destroy the habitat? What about conservation on that island? Pak Victor concluded the government needs a large budget to manage Komodo National Park, because with a good conservation, it will be the pride for all of us, especially given the fact that Komodo dragons only exist in East Nusa Tenggara. So there. And what about the strike? At the end of the last video, I just mentioned that there was a strike going on. Some people had been arrested, and there was some physical activity on part of cops, apparently beating a few people. Labuan Bajo strike ends. Tourists to pay $10 fee to see Komodo until December 2022. Tourism activities in Labuan Bajo have returned to normal in the past few days, according to a high-ranking official. She said local businesses decided to end their strike in protest against the new government policy hike. She said, thank God, after the two-day protest, we've started to return to business for Labuan Bajo again. Shana is the director of the implementation agency for the Labuan Bajo Flores Authority, BPO-LBF. Shana said tourists arriving at Labuan Bajo's Komodo International Airport are picked up by travel agencies or rental car services starting today. Well, that was 2 days ago. 2 days ago, some tourists had to hitchhike in the back of pickup trucks operated by the local government as the agencies and rental car operators were on strike. Shana said the strike forced the government to reconsider its approach to implementing the policy in Labuan Bajo, which hosts several G20 events this year. Because of an incident like this, the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy takes steps to open a dialogue with all tourism business stakeholders, Shana said. According to Michelle Barilari, a representative for Italian tour operators, she said, we accept that there's an increase in entrance fees prices, but the increase is very steep. I'm not sure guests from Italy will want to go to Labuan Bajo. The business operators reached an agreement with the government on Wednesday and ended their strike after the former reinstated the old fees of $150,000 per person. Shana said tourists who book tickets until December 2022 only need to pay the old fees for entering Komodo National Park. She said the policy regarding the entrance fees would fall under the authorities of the East Nusa Tenggara and the Ministry of Forestry and Environment, which supervises national parks. Shana said the two institutions had stricken a deal for the Komodo National Park. BPO-LBF, on the other hand, is responsible for formulating strategy, coordinating, and issuing permits for tourism developments in Labuan Bajo and Flores. This agency answers directly to President Jokowi. And as I said, everybody wants to get into this. And so here we've got Minister Airlangga, Coordinating Minister Airlangga will evaluate Komodo Island entrance ticket prices of Indonesia rupiah 3.75 million. The Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Airlangga Hartarto, said the government would evaluate the price of admissions to Komodo Island, which was supposed to be 3.75 million starting on the 1st. He said, we will evaluate it later, and later we will see again because there is indeed conservation and rehabilitation being carried out. According to Airlangga, the government still has to consider limiting the number of tourists who will visit one of these super priority destinations in Indonesia. In addition, he said, with the limitation of the number of tourists, of course, we will pay attention and we will discuss it with the technical ministry. And so it looks like the prices are going to stay the same through December and then go up, or maybe not go up, because who knows what is happening. And one more segment on Komodo. Komodo Island entry price hike may drop hotel occupancy, jobs, researcher. So according to researcher for the Indonesian Institute, TII, according to her, such a decision should be based on scientific studies and prioritize the sustainability of natural resources to prevent a domino effect. Public communication is vital. before implementing such a policy so that it will not cause an impact on tourism actors, she said in a written statement yesterday. Consequently, hotel occupancy will decline, profits of local MSMEs will drop, and people who depend on tourism will lose their job. What is a MSME? Micro, small, medium enterprises. She said, in making policy, the government should consult with various parties, including tourism players. The policy implementation should also be planned carefully and in accordance with good governance principles. The government needs to pay attention to aspects of inclusion and public participation in processing a policy. Nouri said after academic considerations, the government needs time to disseminate the policy to the public to prevent misunderstandings with local tourism actors. Okay, and so who knows what's happening? Okay, you remember the other day I was talking about the complaints about the slowness. Thank you for commenters who talking about how long it has taken them once they've come into Bali. Appreciate it. That's helpful for all of us. Well, here's something. Bali Regional Office of Law and Human Rights claims to be able to check 1,920 passengers per hour. The Bali Regional Office for Law and Human Rights denied that there's been a queue of up to 5 hours, as I mentioned the other day. They said that is not true. According to the head of Bali Legal and Human Rights Regional Office, Pak Anggiat, he said no. He said there's currently 16 counters in total with a composition of one counter containing 2 inspectors, right, one on each side. And so there's a total of 32 immigration officers on duty at the inspection counter. However, because of the beautification project for the VVIPs coming in for G20, only 15 are currently operating. And he said under these conditions, immigration is able to complete the inspection of 1,800 passengers an hour. So he's saying 15 are open, and you got 2, so you got 30 people working, and 1,800 people per hour they can process. Currently, the average passenger arrival at the International Arrival Terminal of Nuri Airport is about 8,000 a day, according to this article. The number of international flights is getting up to more than 40 a day, and he said the number of 16 counters is still representative to handle the number of arriving passengers. We can do 1,920 with 16 open. He said, queues only occur during peak hours. He said, regarding the cause on the arrival schedule, that can occur sequentially. That's not immigration's domain. They can't do anything about it. But when they find out that there is going to be a lot of planes coming in at once, they make sure that they provide additional officers. I'm taking that to mean that you don't have these 15 counters open all at once, all the time, putting people there when they think they need it. And any comments on your arrival or your departure, most certainly welcome. Thank you. The authority to add counters rests with the PT Angkasa Pura, the airport's manager. If there's an additional inspection counter, the immigration side is ready to accept it, he said. Immigration says they are going to have people there and process them promptly, and so let's see how that goes. And let's get into a little Bulalang news. Singaraja-Mengwitani shortcut at point 8 is already 64%. Okay, so the shortcut has a number of points on it, and I've only been in the shortcut once, and I may be down in Sanur in a couple of weeks to visit a friend of mine coming in from Australia, and hoping to meet with Pak Bobo, who has one of my favorite vlogs on what's happening down in the tourist area. You know, Bobo and I have been exchanging greetings and likes and things for quite a while now, and so I really like to meet him. He's, I think, a unique character. And so I may be down there so I can see what's happening there, because the last time I was there was, what, a couple months ago, and it was kind of a mess. So the progress is at 64%, and it's targeted for completion in November. Good thing, because the rainy season is there, right? Boy, it's going to be a mess if it's not done by then. The construction of the Singaraja-Mengwitani shortcut at point 8 is an integral part of the Singaraja-Mengwitani City Boundary New Road Development Program at point 7A, 7B, 7C, which is one of the priority programs in the area of the leadership of the governor of Bali. And so the governor was up reviewing yesterday, looking at progress and seeing how things were doing, and so he said everything is on schedule to be completed on time in November. He did emphasize that the work needs to be quality and that it should be reliable in the future and become part of an excellent infrastructure. Because if you've seen roads here, they fix them and they're great, and then they're trashed 6 months later. So hopefully this will stay good. So at shortcut point 8, there's going to be 1,380 meters of road, 2 bridges of 100 meters and 60 meters, and the construction of the shortcut point is also designed to accelerate vehicle speed from 20 kilometers an hour to 60 kilometers an hour. Wow, that would speed up the trip going from here to there. And what about the airport? Governor Koster chooses focus on building supporting infrastructure. So the governor finally has given a response regarding the removal of the airport from the National Strategic Program, PSN. I talked about that a couple of videos ago, right? He said, that's a normal thing that's done in government policy making. No problem. You know, they looked at it, it wasn't on schedule, and so they pull it off. That does not mean it's not being built. He said he's optimistic that the North Bali Airport will still be built. And so he's not going to be stressed about it. He's focused right now on getting the Gili Manuk Mengwi toll road finished. And that would be part of the infrastructure that would support the airport. He said the airport is certain. It's just a matter of waiting. Access is made first, then the airport. If the airport's built and there's no access, who wants to use it? Okay, he's putting a good spin on this. He said, that's why I finished the toll road first. Don't let it be like Kertajati Airport in West Java. Okay, I don't know about that one. He said the airport has an inadequate access, and the access is there, but it takes 4 hours to get there. I don't know from where. He said, and people don't want to use it. Now the airport, which has trillions of investment, has turned into a concert venue. Okay. I don't know about this, but it's interesting. And that does make some sense. If you're going to have an airport there, you need to be able to get back and forth. And I was talking about that in a couple of other segments on different video about the airport and people complaining if they're going to have to go south from North Airport. What about the road system? What about the infrastructure? And so he's saying, yeah, we're going to get the infrastructure done first, and then the airport's going to come next. That's the situation with the airport. It looks like it ain't going to happen for quite a while. Okay, and if you are living here, you might not know this. I didn't know this. I just came across this. Tens of millions of vehicles don't pay taxes. Get ready to be stupid. The Traffic Corps of National Police will implement the erasure of vehicle data that does not extend the STNK, the vehicle registration, for 2 years. So if you don't extend your vehicle registration for 2 years, they're going to delete all the data, and so you will be driving an illegal vehicle. Pudjiastuti from the Traffic Corps said that the implementation of this can encourage people to be more disciplined in paying taxes. And this has a basis in law, Article 74 of Law Number 22 of 2009, concerning road traffic and transportation. It's been possible to do this for the last 13 years, but they haven't done it, but they're going to do it now, according to him. But there's a little problem with this. What is the problem with this? Well, according to data compiled by Dasi Jasa Raharja, as of December 2021, there were 103 million vehicles at the Samsat Joint Office. However, the data revealed that as many as 40 million vehicles, or around 39%, have not paid any taxes. So this means the level of compliance in paying vehicles is only 61%. So 39% of the population, those people, they're going to be driving illegally. He said motorized vehicles that have been removed from the registration list and identification will cause their own problems because they are not equipped with a valid STNK as proof of the operational legitimacy of motorized vehicles on the road. And so, if you've got a car or motorbike, make sure that you keep up with your STN card. Okay, some tech talk. IOH launches 5G in Bali, supports G20 agenda, right? G20 is causing all sorts of development in Bali right now, and well, some good and some bad. Indosat Orido Hutchinson, IOH, launched 5G service in Bali. The launch was carried out in Nusa Dua on Wednesday. Bali's the sixth city in Indonesia to have 5G services from IOH. Surakarta, Jakarta, Surabaya, Makassar, and Balikpapan all have 5G services. President, Director, and CEO of IOH said that IOH is committed to playing an important role in the 5G revolution in order to support Indonesia's transformation agenda. He said our 5G launch would not have been possible without the cooperation and support of various parties, including the Ministry of Communication and Information and the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy. We're happy to be able to offer 5G services in Bali. According to him, this launch is also a form of his support for the government of Indonesia as host of the G20 presidency and to support the economic recovery of Bali. And Pak Sandiaga Uno, our favorite tourism minister, said that he appreciated the launch of 5G and the role that it's going to play in the success of high-level conferences in G20 or at G20 for November of 2022. Pak Sandiaga said hopefully in the future Indosat Ooredoo Hutchinson can continue to develop this 5G service in various destinations in Indonesia, especially the other super priority and superior tourism destinations. The deputy governor was also at the launch, and he said that this is going to benefit the local community as well as being an attraction for foreign tourists. He said, with 5G service from IOH, we hope Bali can become a super tourist destination that brings Indonesia's good name in the international area. I already thought Bali had a good name in the international area. Well, maybe in Indonesia as well, but hey, whatever. Meanwhile, CEO of Huawei Indonesia, Jackie Chen, said that his party cooperated with the entire digital ecosystem in accordance with the company's commitment called I Do. Huawei will continue to contribute the latest global technology to improve network efficiency for 5G services in Bali and support the G20 service. Okay, a lot of stuff there. That's it for today. It's Friday and the weekend is coming up. We're doing a cooking video on Sunday. And if you want to see that, go to my wife's channel and subscribe and leave a comment about the food. If you find it enjoyable, if you like Indonesian food, check it out. There's Sue's video. And if you haven't seen the free car-free day video from my Singaraja snippets, you can find that up here. And I'll be doing another Singaraja snippets in a week or so. I've got one I'm editing right now still. And as I said, I may be going down to Sanur in a few weeks. I don't know. The people I want to see, I have gotten very, hesitant about being in crowds since the pandemic started. I'm so used to just kind of staying here at home in my neighborhood, in my city, which is pretty spread out and not packed like down in the south, that the idea of going down to the tourist area just kind of freaks me. So we'll see how that works. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would appreciate you subscribing. There are videos on Tuesday and Friday, a cooking video on my wife's channel on Sunday. Singaraja Snippets comes up once every few weeks or so. Subscribe if you want to be notified of that kind of stuff. And I appreciate a thumbs up if you found the video helpful, useful, informative, scintillating, non-irritating, or humorous. Appreciate the thumbs up. And I hope you are all staying safe. And if you're coming to Bali, I hope you have a great trip and you don't get stuck in queues at the airport. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe. And I will see you on Tuesday.